Nikita Dragun just got cancelled only days after being detained from a psychiatric facility where she was held for 8 days. And we seriously need to talk about everything that's happening. So we need to spill the hot tea because Nikita Dragun's recent post is leaving her fans convinced she faked her mental breakdown for views. Not only that, but she's also been accused of cultural appropriation. So grab your hot cocoa and don't forget to breathe while we investigate this shocking tea. Did Nikita Dragun really get cancelled again? Nikita Dragun's fans can't keep defending her. She's already been accused of cultural appropriation days after being detained, and her fans are starting to get sick of it. And also, her recent pic has fans convinced she was lying about having cuts on her stomach. So first of all, we need to discuss what actually happened to Nikita, and trigger warning, it's intense. What caused Nikita to get detained in a psychiatric facility for 8 days straight? After a 2-week break off social media, people were starting to ask where Nikita was and what she was getting up to, because this wasn't like her at all. People are used to her keeping quiet after scandals, but this time she was keeping quiet for another reason. She wasn't allowed her phone on her where she was. After a super long break on the socials, Nikita took to her Instagram stories to announce that she'd been detained in a psychiatric facility for 8 days. I've been detained for the last 8 days under a temporary detaining order in magistrate. I was kicked out on Thanksgiving Day. I walked the streets in the cold. I got picked up by the cops. I was hospitalised. I was administrated to a psychiatric hospital involuntarily. After making this huge announcement, Nikita's fans started freaking out and wondering if she was okay. She then proceeded to say, "God, I may never understand why, but I will always take on every battle. I believe in myself. At this time, I ask for privacy. Family and friends, I love you. When I'm ready to talk about what happened, I will. The stigma around mental health is tragic. What they do not understand, they shame. History is not kind to women who think like a man. They just call us crazy." After this, fans wanted answers. They wanted to know what had really happened to Nikita. After getting asked by hundreds of thousands of people what happened, Nikita finally exposed herself by posting photos and videos of why she was detained, alongside a huge explanation of why she had a fresh cut on her stomach. Fans did become suspicious with this post, however, because the question that kept popping up was, how did she manage to get her hands on her phone whilst in the psychiatric ward? God, I may never understand why, but I believe in myself and you. I surrender. I've never prayed for myself, but here it goes. I want to be free. I have been detained, handcuffed, and drugged. It took me to feel like a slave to understand and find myself. I was placed under a temporary detaining order and magistrate, taking away all my rights as a human. I was kicked out on Thanksgiving Day. I walked the streets in a red GCDS dress, a Katsuki jacket, and clear stripper heels in the cold. I was picked up by the police and rode at the back of the car. I was hospitalised and tested top to bottom. I was administered into a psychiatric behavioural health hospital involuntarily. I was drugged so intensely I couldn't even keep my eyes open for days. I was broken. After getting called crazy so many times, I almost wanted to just believe it. History is not kind to those seeking mental help. It was weaponized against me by even the ones I love most. I have been speaking to a therapist and a psychiatrist for months prior. Medication was an option, but for my choosing. This trip to Virginia was my way of trying to reconnect, find myself again. The only people who seemed to understood me were the patients. Bipolar, schizophrenia, etc. I finally found people who just saw me for me. I even met a patient named Jesus, born on Christmas Day. He talks to God, and baby, that's good enough for me. My divinity and singing granted me freedom. I was lost, alone, and afraid. I know he works in mysterious ways, and Lord knows I can take on any battle. This one hurt, but showed me my will of fire. I am a victim. I am a survivor. I am a lot of things, but I am just a girl with a dream. Delusional and all. No one will ever take my wish or beliefs away from me. To my family and friends, I love you and I am okay. To my dragons, mama needs some rest for the real battle. To me, I'm just going to pat myself on the back and say, you are good enough. Never perfect. But where's the fun in that anyways? I will never hide my truth. I'm sure sharing something like this is considered embarrassing. Regardless, I just want to be seen and heard. This one is for me. Forgiveness. Even for myself. I am just human. Overall, Nikita wanted to make it very clear that she's not ashamed to talk about her mental health because it's an important topic that gets stigmatized a lot. But as soon as she got sympathy from her fans, she turned around and posted a series of controversial pics. Glad you're good, but then the cut on your stomach was not real. It wasn't a bruise, it was a slice, and it doesn't heal that fast. And if it was a picture before, she would still have the cornrows. I find it a tad bit hilarious how you're talking about a serious thing that just happens to most, not famous people, in society. Joking about being locked inside a mental institution to get publicity isn't cool or hot. This is sickening, and what example you're sharing with your so-called fans is appalling. It's a serious thing that people got to go through / live with daily. Glad to see someone so-called famous take it as a joke. I'm really shook if Nikita really did fake this whole situation for clout, but this video of her stomach now has people convinced that she lied. Of course, this wasn't the only thing about the post that had fans upset. The fact that Nikita was wearing cornrows after being repeatedly told off by fans in the past for cultural appropriation, I mean, this had fans sick and tired at this point. Here we go again. Girl, you just don't get it, huh? Fresh out and already appropriating. Sis, I can't keep defending you. Unfortunately, this isn't the only time Nikita Dragun has been accused of cultural appropriation. In September 2019, Nikita faced criticism after she was photographed attending New York Fashion Week wearing box braids and was accused of cultural appropriation. Her response to the backlash at that time had fans even more pissed.
You guys, I am fully aware a lot of people are going to say stuff about the hair choice that I have made, and I'm just going to be straight up and real with you. I appreciate all of my gorgeous black women, and this was completely inspired by them. This is actually a protective hairstyle used to, you know, really protect the hair, get all the braids. It's such a cute look, and I wanted to emulate this in a wig. This is actually a wig. I know I didn't actually get it braided, but I know a lot of times people get crazy in terms of like trying to rename a style or something that has such deep-rooted culture, and I would never want to obviously offend anybody. You know, me being part Native American, we also have braids and stuff like that.
There's many other times Nikita has been called out for cultural appropriation and blackfishing, but she never seems to fully take accountability or apologize. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. She's probably not going to respond to the current backlash she's getting, and yes, you're right, because literally 24 hours after she posted these photos, she took to her Instagram story and posted even more. She's too busy worrying about borrowing someone's Netflix account to even think about responding to all the backlash.